Hello and welcome, I'm Blue and this is my speedrun of Air Ranger Rescue Helicopter for the PS2. Now if you've never heard of this game, that's due to one of two reasons probably. Either you're American, and this game never came out in the US, so that'd be one reason. Or you saw it on the shelves or in the bargain bin, but you saw other games which looked a bit more exciting, so I picked them. I mean, come on, it's a helicopter simulation game, it's not the most exciting of games. So yeah, the thing I did on the configuration screen there was I set the control of the helicopter to easy instead of normal or real. Setting the control to easy makes handling the helicopter much easier, as you'd expect a setting called easy to do. On real, when you take off like this, as I'm about to do now, when you take off you go spiralling in one direction due to the torque of the engines, and that happens when you're flying in straight lines like this as well. You really can't fly in a straight line because you start veering off to one side, so you have to use the right analog stick to make sure you fly in a straight line. And that's just a lot of faffing that really doesn't need to happen, so I just stick it on easy and then you don't have to bother, you can fly in straight lines and stuff. It's sort of like if you played a game where you have arcade and simulation controls. Real is like the simulation and easy is the arcade, and it's just pretty much as simple as that. You may have heard the voiceover from the woman at the start. She says stay low along the road. That's pretty much the best piece of advice you could have for a speedrun of this game. The helicopter flies quite fast in forwards, backwards, left and right, but going up and down takes forever. So yeah, I land there to let Bob get out, that's the guy running around, and then I land closer so he has less far to run when he's doing his Hollywood bit here, rescuing the guy. I just straighten up the helicopter there. Now, you can't get any closer to him with the helicopter, you have to be inside that red circle that you saw at the start. If you fly outside of it, you just stand still. And also you might think here, since you see him put him in the back of the helicopter, you might think, why don't I turn around and present the back to him? Bob has a certain waypoint he has to walk to, as you'll see here, he walks to a certain point and then he starts going towards the helicopter. So if I was the other way around, he'd have to walk all the way around the helicopter. So that's why I don't present the back to him. And then we leave him behind because that's the fastest way to do this. You can wait for him to get on, there's no penalty or any advantage to picking him up or leaving him behind, so we just leave him behind because it's faster. And then we're on our way to the helipad, even though the game hasn't quite realised that yet. There we go.
Hey! You might have told me you were going to leave me behind.
Yeah, sorry Bob.
Don't think it's too bad. Come back first, okay?
No, we're not going to come back for him, we're just going to leave him there, rotting in the street. So yeah, this game has a number of cameras you can use to control the helicopter. You saw the RC cam there, which is from the target pointing at you, and then there's 3 cameras you can control: the cockpit cam, the close in behind camera, and the far away camera. And I'll get further into that. I'll get into that a bit later on as I come in for quite a nice landing here. I used to fly over the buildings in in the earlier runs, but then I just but that entails lowering onto it, which is a bit slower than just flying straight at it like that. And I only got 7 technical points for the landing, which I think is a crime because that was an excellent landing. So yeah, the technical points, they're awarded for how close into the circle you land with the helicopter, how close to the centre you land. And on the first missions of each stage, you'll need 10 technical points to unlock the second mission. Well, you need 90 points in total, which is a gold medal, but you always get 80 points for the clear time, which you're doing a speedrun anyway, otherwise that's a reset because these times are more than ample. So you should always get the 80 points, so you need 10 technical points in order to unlock the second. But on the second missions of each stage, then you don't need any technical points whatsoever because they don't do anything. So there's a bit of a route change here from the previous one if you saw that. I used to do them in order from 1-1, 1-2, 2-1, 2-2, etc. But now I don't do 1-2 until after I've done stage 2 altogether. And that's just because stage 1-2, well 1-2 is quite easy, whereas 2-1 and 2-2 is where most of the runs seem to die, so I get them out of the way first. And on this one we have to, instead of lowering Bob, landing and letting Bob get off, we have to just lower him down to collect people. Luckily he's quite good at doing this because he's quite sticky for some reason. I don't know why I didn't get that. You'll see him pick up the next guy from miles away, and then he just missed that guy being the previous guy from being right next to him, so I don't know why that happened, but he has some weird hitboxes from time to time. So yeah, you have to collect 4 people, and then we have to go land because we can't collect any more people. Okay, and that's where we're going now. This landing point up here is at 2:53, So instead of going up too high, like I said, height is the enemy of speed in this game, I just keep it at around 260 and play chicken with the cliffs with as little height as I could possibly get away with. So that's about 260ish I usually go for. And then I do something similar like I did with Bob in the last episode, the last stage. The guy gets off the helicopter, and I just move a bit closer forward because the next person doesn't get out of the helicopter until that guy has run into the red cliff. Oh, what am I talking about? The red tent. And you can see there the floor isn't quite solid. You can see through it if you're in the cockpit cam and look down. But that's far off. You don't have to wait for him to get in the thing. To get in the tent, you can just wait for him to get out of the helicopter, and out he goes.
The water is cold, so we're worried about victims losing energy in the water. Be quick.
So this ferry that's in the sea, it does certain things at certain times, and the first time it does anything is on 3 minutes into the mission, and we're currently 2.5 into it, so it hasn't done anything yet. On 3 minutes it sinks and the front of the boat sort of goes under a bit, and most of these lines, voice lines where they're coming up, are predicated on the fact that that's already happened.
There are 4 left. Let's go after the ones in the water first.
Because none of them are actually in the water yet, as you'll...
Hey, there's a kid.
Yep, there is a kid, Gogan and Bob.
Gotcha.
And yeah, you'll see there's something
Bob lowered.
like a coin in the middle. Well, the boat will sink, and now you'll see something blue and coiny in the
Bob lowered.
just in front of the bit that just sank. You'll see it coming through screen there. That's part of the game's unlock system. They're called star coins, and there's 5 of them in each mission. And if you collect all 40 of them, then you unlock. It's a customize option on the main menu, and it basically changes the colours of the helicopters. There's 2 packs of skins available. There's blue skins, and there's like JSAF skins, the Japanese Air Force skins. So yeah, I don't ever do that though. I don't collect any of them in this run. That's the only one you're ever in danger of collecting, and I think it's only there to show you them, so you actually go, what are these? But yeah, I need the technical points, as I said before, to unlock the next mission, so that's why I do a semi-safe landing. You can lose points if you crash into the ground, as you'll see in the next mission, when I do crash into the ground, because I don't need any points. So the next mission used to be the hardest one in the run, because of RNG. It's literally the only mission that has RNG in the game. And it still does have RNG, but there's a way to mitigate that, and always find the guy. So I'll talk about the HUD now. If you've noticed so far, the arrow is always pointed where we need to go, what we need to get to in the top left. That points from where it is on the screen, rather than from where you are on the screen. So as you can see, it's pointing just slightly right here. You'll have to move slightly to the left of where it's pointing, because it's always from the left side of the screen. And the gauges on the left, the top one's altitude, as you probably guessed, that's in feet. And the middle one's VSI, that stands for vertical speed indicator. If it's negative, that means you're losing height in the helicopter, and if it's positive, you're gaining height. It goes from plus 999 to negative 999, and the little meter next to it is how much power how much vertical power you currently have. You always need some to stay level. Right, this second guy here, this is the first guy, he's always in the same place. Then the boat, you need to get the boat pointing to the right. The point of the boat needs to point straight right, and that's where this second guy is. If you don't know that, because this guy's always in a random position, this one coming up. But if you get the boat pointing to the right and just go straight forward, that's where he is. He's always there. And this was pretty much the best I've ever done this. No messing around with either person in the water. And that's it. That's the mission done. That used to be a real bugger of a mission, because, as I said, the arrow points at everything you need to get in the game, except for the second guy in this mission. That it doesn't update to point to him, even though you probably didn't notice it then. And there's no other way to, if you didn't know that trick, with the boat always pointing to the right and going straight forward from there, then the guy is like impossible to find, because the wind's always in a random direction, so you can't use that. And the boat's always pointing in a random direction as well, so you can't use that. So it's kind of hard to find him, but now since I've figured out that he's always in that place relative to the boat, it's easy. And the only hard part then is not touching the water with the helicopter, because they're right low down in the water. And if you touch the water with a helicopter, that's game over. The helicopter explodes. But it doesn't explode, like it's like a puff of smoke, and then it's just the helicopter's not there anymore. So that's it's kind of explosive, but not really. Now I don't go straight for it, the helipad again as before, because I'd have to come down off the buildings. So I just fly along the road so that I can go at a lower height. Then you have to mind out with them traffic lights are solid. You can't crash into them and crash and die, as I have done before. So yeah, you can see there I might subtracted 10 points for a hard landing. That's what happens if you just barrel into the ground. But like I said, it's no consequence on the second stages of each mission because you don't need the points for anything. So now I clean up 1-2, which is technically another tutorial mission. This one teaches you how to use the hook. I mean, it's technically a tutorial mission, but then after this there's only one more mission which you need to use the hook in. There's only 8 missions in the game, and this is the 4th. We've seen all but one of the things the helicopters can do now, and all varieties of mission. Now there's an oddity, as I'll show you here, with the cameras. If you go to the cockpit cam, you can see there's a co-pilot, the woman, and she's fully featured. However, if you look over at us, we don't have any legs. So yeah, that's not that much of a big deal though, is it? I mean, you don't really need your legs to use a helicopter, it's mostly joystick. Well, I mean, you kinda do, there's pedals, but you know, I'm sure there's ways around that. Seems to be doing alright anyway, because we ain't got any legs, seems to be doing alright, so that's cool. On this one I used to fly to the side of the bridge and then fly over to where this tanker is, but now I just figured out it's pretty much easier to just do this way, and then you don't have to line up, because if you go down the road you're already lined up. So I don't know why I wasn't doing it this way the first time, but yep, you need to be about 171 feet to be in the right place for this. And what you have to do with these hook-based ones is you drop the hook into the circle, and then you have to wait for one of the people on the ground to run over, and then he'll pick up the hook and attach it to whatever you're picking up. And the thing is about these, you don't actually have to pick it up, you can just drag it along the ground, and there we go. You get 0 technical points, but we don't need any technical points, so that's okay. So yeah, the first time I thought you'd like me picking it up and taking it to somewhere on land somewhere or something like that. So I like flew away, but then it's like, oh, it's only there. It's like right next to where you pick it up from. So yeah, this isn't exactly the fastest way to land. Oh, that fence is solid by the way, so you can't get any lower because you'll bash into the fence. That's not the fastest way. If you just go straight forward and do like a diagonal approach, that'd be the fastest, but it's extremely hard to judge. So that sort of curved approach is also, it's not that slow, it's like what, maybe half a second, so you know, not that big of a deal. And as I mentioned, there was one other mission where you had to use the hook. This is it. This is the longest mission in the game, because now instead of picking up a trailer that's a tanker that's fallen off a trailer, we now have to pick up a truck and the timber that it dropped, because it fell off, apparently it just ran off a cliff, off a road, off a cliff. So we have to go pick it up and help the guy out. But that's cool because we're nice like that, so we can do that. Now I know I've said a couple of times that height is the enemy of speed, but this really is the fastest way on this one. You have to climb up to 1120 to get over this ridge. This is the fastest way, you can't go around, it's far too long to go around. So yeah, if you see me not going in a direct, like following the arrow directly, it's usually because there's a faster way that doesn't require getting as much height as I'm doing here. Just spinning through these trees. They don't like you don't get game over if you hit them, but you do lose. Well, we'll see in a minute, because I do hit one of them in this one. You don't lose height. I mean, you do lose height and you lose speed, but that's it. You don't lose any points or anything like that. And we do need points on this one, so since it's the first mission, so I don't go mental. That usually goes better than it did here, but this time I just misjudged it a little bit. so that's not perfect. And as I said, yep, you have to drop the hook into the thing and then wait for the guy. Now you can go too low on these. If you go, yeah, as Bob says there, if you lose too much height, it's dangerous and the people on the ground cower, so you have to gain height. But yeah, even though you lose points for dragging these logs along the ground, it doesn't matter because you can gain 20 technical points from landing with a truck. It's very hard not to get those 20 technical points, so you can just drag them all over the place. Now if you watch the guy here on the ground and keep an eye on him, then he does that up motion, then he starts going for a little jog. And what that means is when you've lifted that second log in and come up for the third one, he's still doing his little jog, so it doesn't matter really how quickly you do this because you still have to get on the third. It doesn't matter how quickly you get this hook into the circle here because you still have to wait for him to do his little lap of the truck before he comes and picks it up. So I did that one quite well, but it was really for nothing in the end since I still had to wait for him. So that's all pretty much the hard bit of mission done. The only real hard bit of this is like knowing where the hook is, because none of the camera angles are ideal for it. And this here, I don't know what happened here. Look, I think that's in a circle, he runs towards it, then he stops and does his motion again, so I don't know what happened there. I mean, I wasn't off the ground, I was at about the same height, so I wasn't pulling it along or anything. But whatever. That's about a second lost due to that. And now the magic happens. For some reason, I don't know why this was massively faster. I mean, I've done this like about 200 attempts at this now, and this was a gold for this segment by about 15 seconds, and I have literally no idea where that came from. Because as you saw at the start of it wasn't particularly great when I first approached the circle on the ground. So I've literally no idea where that came from. I think, well, the only thing I can think of is that I was at a lower height here and didn't have to wait as long lowering at the end, but I didn't do anything different there. I didn't do anything different to what I normally do, so like I said, I don't really know, but this was the first time I got sub 4 minutes for this mission. Yeah, ignore Bob there, he says head back, but this is the last thing you have to do. And even though that's not exactly in the centre, and it's like moves towards the centre, you can put that pretty much anywhere and get the 20 points. So it's not that difficult to get those. Unless you want to lose a few from dragging the logs along the ground, you're not in any danger of not unlocking the next mission. So that's 5 missions down now, up to number 6. And on this one we have to go land and nearly touch some water, but it's not as dangerous as the third mission was, because you're allowed to touch this water, so that's okay. I don't know if this is special water or something, but you're allowed to touch this one and you don't crash, so that's cool. So again on this one I used to go high to about 500 to go over all the trees and take a more direct route, but then I just thought, what would happen if I just went along the river for once? And it turns out it's slightly quicker. It's not massively faster, but it's slightly quicker, so it's worth doing because there's no danger of like crashing or anything. And I get slightly favourable wind direction. Like I said, it's always random for every mission, so I get kind of favourable here since it's not against me. One not to start with anyway. The flight on towards this dude and then the next dude after him, that's like longer than the flight back, so it's sort of okay that it's with me. It's better than it's with me now than with me coming back, if you understand what I mean. So yeah, this water here, you have to land in this circle and water comes into this circle, but if you touch that water, it doesn't matter, you don't explode.
I'll land in the shallows. Take care it's not in deep water where someone could lose their footing. Here, be quick! The victim is thought to be in a ravine upstream. Follow the river and look for them.
So yeah, if you haven't played this game and you want to like get into speedrun in it, the best advice you can take is listen to this woman. She's like the speedrun guide for this game. So yeah, she says fly low along the river, check, and don't crash. That's pretty good advice, I think. So yeah, you don't really want to go high here. I mean, it's not dangerous to doing so, but then you only have to come down again at the end, so you might as well just stay low. So 30-ish, I think you have to be about 10 to pick up the guy, so 30-ish is okay, because these things in the water do jut out a bit, so 10's a bit dangerous for flying along, but otherwise it's okay. And yeah, there's weird things about these cliffs here. If you crash into them, you don't actually crash, you just bounce off them and lose a bit of height and lose a bit of vertical speed. So if you can correct it quick enough, then you don't die, and the only damage is 2 points. But yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, if you crashed into a real cliff with a helicopter, I'm sure it'd be a bit more dangerous than that. So that was pretty good picking them up there, and I didn't have to waste time rotating since I was pretty much in the right direction. So that was pretty perfect as well. I think from my splits that this was also a gold as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, this was also a gold, and I saved about 20 seconds off my previous best. And I knew that because the previous best was when I crashed into the cliff, so that wasted a bit of time. So I knew there was time to save on this one. And I like how this fog just randomly appears. You can just see on the screen where the fog just starts appearing in like puffs of smoke. So yeah, this game, I kind of like this game. I mean, I know most people sort of, when they play the game enough and they don't, speedrun a game, and it's like got bits of RNG that they really don't, then they... Let me start again. So yeah, I kind of like this game. I know some people when they speedrun a game, they sort of like jokingly say they hate it because of all the RNG and stuff, that there's just like one thing in the game that puts them off it. But no, I kind of like this game, even though there's... I mean, the music's great, the voice work is kind of good, it's funny as well. So yeah, the only downsides is some of the sound effects stop playing sometimes for just random reasons. I mean, I didn't mention it before, but if you go back into the second mission, after I've dropped the first lot of people off, the sound effect for the rotors stops playing. I don't know why, it just does. And also, you can look through the floor, and that's sort of a thing that I don't really... I mean, it doesn't affect anything, but it just looks a bit shoddy, being able to look down and look through the floor. So yeah, that's 6 missions down now. Just have to go land. This heliport's at about 53, I think, the landing height is for this. But there's quite a lot of stuff in the way, so it's better to come at it from like that than it is to just 57 or 53. So it's better to come at it in a curve like that again than just go straight towards it like I did in the first mission. And now on to the one with the most badass mission in the game. This is 4-1, and this features a runaway train that we have to rescue people from. For some reason there's only 2 people on this train. I don't know if everybody else like got off at a stop or something, or I don't know, they just didn't bother picking them up in the first place. But whatever, there's 2 people on this train, and we have to go pick them up.
The train is out of control in a gorge. Sight the train from the air and get in close.
But again, this woman has all the speedrun related knowledge you need. Get in close, get in, get out. And yeah, I keep calling her this woman. She's actually the co-pilot, and she's called Matilda. You don't ever hear that in the game, but it's on the back of the box. Then the other guy's voice, well, the Australian guy, he's Bob. That's Bob, the guy who runs around and generally the hero of the piece. And you don't talk, you're called Kane, the pilot. And I make a startling discovery here. So I've done this before, as you can see. She has legs. She's also animated as well, that's quite nice. We don't have legs. But by the magic of the faraway camera, if you swing it around, hey, we have legs, and a body, and everything else. So that's cool. So we are actually fully controlling the helicopter, just the cockpit cam is lying to us. So yeah, for these guys on the train you want to be about 413 height wise. You can take a more direct route in this mission because you have quite a long flight towards this thing. You don't really have to take a path that lets you fly lower. And here's the badass part when we get to the first guy. Right, here we go. Now you can't just stop here and lower Bob because he takes a while to come down, so you have to start flying backwards, and bang. That's one down. And then the second guy's at the back, in the middle. Boom. And that's quite easy. It looks quite easy, and the main difficulty with that bit is the helicopter VSI. It affects the helicopter differently when you're slightly over the tracks and when you're not over the tracks, like over the land bit, because the tracks are higher up than the land. And here we can see the people in the back of the helicopter looking very pleased that we've rescued them, as you can see. Miserable buggers. So yeah, the difficulty is with the helicopter being over the tracks and then over the land, which is lower down, because when you're over the tracks it pushes you up higher, but then when you're over the land it's on, well, when you're over the tracks it's on positive VSI, and when you're over the land it's negative VSI. So it's sort of like juggling that and keeping it level without crashing into the ground or going flying off into the sky. So, but that's the main bit of difficulty for this one. And then this is the bit I don't like about this mission. You really have to take this path. You can't go around. It's much longer to go around. But that means you can get to the helipad you have to land at within like 2:55. But then it takes forever to get down. And here you'll see what I mean by height being the enemy of speed. So I'm here at 3 minutes, and it still takes another 10 seconds to actually get down to the ground. So as you can see, that's 10, 11, 12 seconds to get down to 13. Come on, that was 12. Game screwed me out of a second there. So yeah, that's 7 missions down, and for some reason they decided to throw in a completely different type of mission now. And on this one we get to be a fireman. Well, a fire crew, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I picked this up for £1.50 at a shop, and I was quite pleased with it. At first I thought it was like a budget game, since it was only like 8 missions and didn't have much in. I thought it didn't have much in the way of like an art budget or development budget or stuff like that, and I thought it was like a pretty top class budget game. But then I found the page on archive.org for the Sony site, the PlayStation site for the Japanese version, and it said it was 7,400 yen, which is about 40 quid in 2002 money. So yeah, it was actually a full price game, so I'd probably be a bit miffed. I'd probably be a bit miffed if I'd have paid full price for this game rather than getting it for £1.50, but otherwise, yeah, like I said, I quite like it. And you can see here what effect wind has on the helicopter, since I'm literally just holding straight up on the analog stick, but I'm flying sort of diagonally. Well, my helicopter's slanted to one side because of the wind. And yeah, there's more direct routes you can take for this one. As you can see, the arrow's pointing like left, whereas I'm going straight over here to the right. But like I said before, on this one you have a choice. You can pretty much fly direct and then take ages descending, or you can sort of take a angled course in, but then descend, so you don't have to spend as much time descending at the target. It pretty much evens out, so there's no real difference. There is a course where you can, a flight course you can take to not actually have to gain like 1,300 feet, but that means you have to go down to the like bridge you can see in the distance and fly along the coast, and that takes like 2.5 minutes instead of 1.5 minutes. So that's really a no-go, unfortunately. But yeah, we get here and we put out these fires in the most surprising manner possible. I don't think our superior would be very pleased with us, but gets the job done. And what you're meant to do, I think, is fly above them and then squirt them. But what you can do is just land next to them and squirt them, and that works just as well. I rotate the camera here because if you have this spray fully in frame, as you'll see here, the frame rate of the game dies drastically. And in real time, that's not good. Obviously it slows the game down. If you're going for in-game time, then obviously you want to do as much as possible. Now this looks a bit ugly because I think I'm too far away, and I land in a perfect place, but then I try and land on top of this ledge a bit, but I miss because squirting like throws you backwards. So I just land here instead, and this gets the job done, but it's not like ideal. It didn't look terribly clean, but it doesn't waste that much time, let's be honest. And that was ugly as well, but and again, you might think I'm going a bit too far out into the water to fill up here. Ooh, I nearly crashed there by landing on the water. If you go further in than where these logs are on the water, then the tube, well, the hose actually comes up because you're too close to land and it thinks you're flying out of the water. So you have to be at least kind of far out, and you might think when you see, well anyway, this is the hardest one to put out because you have to like battle all factors here and be like an octopus on the controller, because you need to be holding R1 to squirt the water, you need to be holding the right analog stick so because the wind's rotating you, so that to straighten that, and you need to be holding the left analog stick to fly forward because squirting throws you backwards, then you need to be holding L1 and L2 to control the height, so it's like control gymnastics for that one. But after that it's quite easy because you can just land on, then you come to this one, land on it and put it out, and we're done. There's actually 7 fires around this factory, but you only have to put 4 of them out, then 4 that I put out. So if you might think, well, why are you putting the rest of them out? Because you don't have to, that's why. So yeah, what I was saying, you might think that why did I fill up so much when and have some left over, some water left over, and since this was such a good run, I really didn't want to blow it by not having enough water, and the thing fills up at 2 notches per second, so 6 notches left, that literally translates to 3 seconds, so I mean, if you want to do it and save 3 seconds, be my guest, but I'm not losing a run because I didn't have enough water and had to fill up a 3rd time, especially when it was this good. I mean, put it this way, this was 31.26, my sum of best after 200 attempts was 31.16, so that's pretty much great. So yeah, that's why I took that. I mean, this wasn't the best time ever on this thing, on this mission, but I don't know how I got off 4.16, that's my best 4.16. That was godly, I don't know how that happened. Or was it? Hang on a minute. And my best for this segment was 5.05 and that was a 5.09, so maybe not, I must be misremembering. But anyway, I've finished now, the game's done. Done If Unfair gets the all missions completed banner, and that's the summary of the missions. A flight time of 22 minutes, which is the best I've ever done. And now I load the other file to show the ending, which is basically the FMV, not FMV, which is basically just showing you where all the star coins are with the credits. So yeah, I didn't unlock the ending. To unlock the ending actually in the gameplay, you have to gold all the missions. And since I didn't do that, I didn't unlock the ending, so that's why I loaded the other file. But that was complete, the game complete. I didn't I didn't miss anything out or anything. That was game complete. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave you with the credits and the locations of all the star coins that I am going to bother to collect, because different coloured helicopters don't really interest me. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I like this game. The sound direction, the graphics are okay for PS2, I think. That's a Ranger rescue helicopter for the PS2 in 31.26. And I've been AD Blue. Thanks for watching.